back to the Biz Show. So for today, I have a guest for us. I'm gonna let him introduce him, and so we can know just a little bit about him.
Hello guys, my name is Prince Kenya or Jackson Maina. I come from Kenya or Jororo constituency, that is Nyadaro County, but currently I'm here in the US. I'm young, I'm single, and things like that.
He said he's single, so if you're searching, I'll pin his Instagram. Go and DM him. Yeah. So, can you give us tell us where you're from and in Kenya and what you were doing before you came to the US?
Okay, as I said before, I come from Nyandarua County. That is Kenya. That is Oljoro constituency. And before I came over here in the US, like every other youth in Kenya, I have tried several things and many things before. Okay, just to keep my life going. So before I came here, immediately before I relocated in the US, I was doing a security job. Okay. Although I have done building and construction, that is Mijengo, I have done kazi mtaani, I have done kibarua hapa na pale, many different kibaruas. Okay. Yeah.
Understandable. Well, what do you go for your school, your high school?
Okay, well, I studied back in my place, that is Oljoro constituency. That's where I went to for my primary school education. Yeah. Then I graduated in the year 2011, and then it was time for me to go to high school. But to your surprise, my parents had no any fees to take me to school. So I had to repeat again the year 2012 so that I do the test again. So that at least I give my parents a room so that they can have gathered some school fees for me. So after 2012, doing my second year KCPE, I went to a boarding school in Lumuruti, a young secondary school. Yeah. But I studied for 1 year, and then my parents lacked school fees. So I had to go back in the day school of the primary school that I school called Gather Secondary School. Yeah. Until I did my KCSE in the year 2016.
Oh, amazing. I also did. Yeah. I actually did my KCSE in 2016, though I should have done it in 2015. But I also was doing other things. I did a study abroad and ended up doing it a year later.
Yeah, I think we were just classmates because I was also supposed to do in 2015, but I was lagged behind because of that when I repeated in class 8.
Yeah. So, have you always wanted to come to US? Is this something that was in your mind?
Okay, well, I usually say every dream has a journey, and my dream has a source, like every other dream that has a source. Let me tell you something. Back in the year 2010, I was in class 7. And then there was this class teacher, CRI class teacher, the religious education. He told us one thing that I remember up to date, that whenever you pray God anything or everything, God usually answers your prayer. And you know what? I was still a kid, but my mind still answers a lot. I usually say this a lot of time. I'm a fast thinker and something like that. So I prayed God one crazy prayer. I usually say it's crazy because comparing my age and the prayer that I prayed, you can see there is a great difference between those two things. So I prayed God because there was this girl that I was in love with, or she was my friend. And then I wanted to confirm whether this is the girl that I'm going to come to marry in the future. Remember, I'm 13 years old. I'm still in class 7. And you know what? God usually answers prayers. So that night, God didn't answer my prayer, but several nights following, I remember at midnight or whatever the time of the night that I dreamed 2 dreams attached together. The first one, God showed me a woman with the 2 kids. I didn't see the face of the woman clearly, but the second dream attached to that one, I saw myself coming out of America, you see, and my parents were there and some great people had to come to welcome me. But the airport that I saw, it is not the real airport, by the way. It is just, there is a place in my home, there is a 3 road junction. And that is the place that I saw that my parents, my friends, great people that had come to welcome me. You know what? It was that. So after the following day, that dream hit me like, oh, I saw my wife, but I didn't see the face clearly. And then I saw myself coming out of America. But because I was a kid, I didn't bother about that. So the year 2013, the same thing happened to me. We were going to a place called Gano. It was on a Christmas day 25. And then there is this gentleman that was in a car. When we entered in that car, he greeted us and told to ask me, how is America? Do you know the reason to why he asked me how is America? I had worn a bandana, I had worn some chains and some bangles in my hand. So he saw me like I looked like a nigger. Do you see?
You serious?
Then he asked me, how is America? Myself, I just traveled, but didn't ever think of it. So to make myself short or clear, that dream kept on following me every now and then, until one day I just decided to think of it and just make my trial and put it into action. Yeah.
Okay, understandable. So
yeah,
when you finished, you said you talked about you finished your high school, you did some vibarua here and there. So
yeah.
as you did that, were you still thinking about applying for the green card lottery, or had you done it more than once, or how was it?
Okay, this is how it all went. Now I have explained about my American dream, where it came. It is like God showed me what will come many years later. Although I didn't care about it because I was still a kid, I didn't think about it. Although in one point, when I dreamed about that, I used to say, I wish one day to go to this country that I'm seeing in dream, things like that. Because it reached to a point I started seeing a new place. Earlier before I used to dream myself in America, and I could see myself just in my village or another village, and I see that it's America. But later along, it came to a point of I'm dreaming and seeing myself in a new place. So that's when now I just, okay, in one side, I could wish myself to go to this place, but on another side, the reality hit me on how can I go about it, on how can I go to America. So this is how it all went. So when I finished my school in year 2016, I hustled here and there just to make my ed meet. And then I got an opportunity to join NYS. So in the year 2018, when I was still in NYS, I had tried like to join police service and things like that, but I didn't manage. So while I was still in NYS, all my mind and my focus was God to help me to join police service. I didn't think anything about America or something like that. But I remember the government publishing that there will be no any recruitment of the police service. Even I was called 5,000 by a certain guy that was said that had promised me to help me get the papers of the police. You know how things run in Kenya. Yeah. So when the government published that there will be no interview, recruitment since I don't know 2021, and I was yet to complete my NYS service on the year 2019. So the reality started to hit me like, after here, where am I going? After here, what next? So on the same year 2018, let me now show you how my green card, I started to apply green card, or how I came to know about green card. I was in my room, and then my dad and my mom were in the kitchen, and then my dad called me out. There was this person, a YouTuber like me and you, who had posted a certain link, and then another friend of my father shared that link or that video on WhatsApp status that was telling people to apply green card because it was for the month of October. So my dad called me out, and then he showed me that video, WhatsApp status, and he told me, why don't you apply this thing? Myself, I used to hear about green card area before, but I didn't know how all the things of green card go. So after my dad showing me that video, I just decided I may make a trial. But you know what? I just tried to submit that form, filled the form, submitted it, but it didn't go through because, as you know, in the month of October, there are a lot of people trying to access that website. So because the website had a lot of jam, my entry didn't go through on the year 2018. And remember, I don't know anything about it. I'm just trying trial and error. So when it refused to go through, I just decided to let it go, and I just decided to let it go. So on the year 2019, that's when now as I told you, I was in NYS and I was almost completing my course in the same year. That's when I got interest and the desire to know how about green card. I joined Facebook green card group. I joined everywhere and every platform I could get information about green card. And the same year, 2019, that's when I decided to make my first entry. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And you talk about the NYS. So when you were in the NYS, do you get paid, or that's just service for the country?
Okay, for NYS, you don't get paid. The government usually just recruits some youth to give them the skill, to give them the training and the vocation, of course. So for NYS, you don't get paid anything, although they give you something like a token to help you buy some stuff like t-shirts, credit, and things like that. So you don't get paid anything. You just like offer your service to the government, and in exchange, they give you the course and the skill that will help you out. Once you are done with your service, how you will tackle the real life outside there.
All right. So which one did you do? Which course did you take while you're there?
Okay, I myself, I did a plant operator because let me tell you something. Even before I joined the NYS, I had done driving in the year 2017 in aspect of one day I'm gonna come and do plant operator. So when the chance of NYS came out, and a certain guy who went to at NYS back in my home who told my mom about that, he called me and told me, you know what, the course that you should desire like to do it is still offered in NYS and it is for free. It's being offered for free. So I just said, why should I force my parents like one day to find money for me to take me to plant operator class whenever I can get this course for free? So that's how I ended up with the decision to join NYS.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So, so when you decided to apply for the green card, so what are some of the requirements, or can anybody apply for the green card?
Okay, about me applying the green card. So I told you in the year 2019, I did the research on every platform that I could get about green card. And that is the greatest advice that I can advise people that are wishing to apply green card. Search information, because with the information and when you are oriented, you are good to go. Myself in the year 2018, I just decided to apply, although I didn't have any guidance because it was just on the spot. Like I have seen the video like immediately and decided to try my luck at that time. So the year 2019, that is the year that the rule of using a passport that was fixed or that was introduced. So I had to apply my passport because on the month of August, that's when I came to know that we need a passport, and I applied a passport and I got one. And I applied myself. I went to Cyber because at first time, you don't know anything about applying for yourself. So I went to CyberCafe, although they applied for me. But the following year come next year when the result were announced. First time, I didn't make it. So the process of applying green card is easy. If it is your first time, you can decide go to CyberCafe because you don't know anything about that. But if at all you have such information and you are oriented, you can just go to your phone. It is a website that the USCIS or wherever the Department of State publish. When you go to that website, you open it, it's gonna take you through some questionnaire up there. You're gonna fill them. Then you're gonna attach a passport photo. And once you attach a passport photo, you submit. They're gonna give you something we call confirmation number. This confirmation number is the one that you will use to check your result come next year, the following year, on the month of May. So that confirmation number is a PIN number. Yeah, it's just easy, by the way. It's something you can do for yourself, or it's something that if at all you don't believe or trust yourself, or you don't have the required information, I usually advise people it's good to go to the CyberCafe.
So what are some of the questions? As I say, what are some of the questions they ask you? Do they require you to have like a degree? Do they require you to have a Form 4 certificate? So what are some of the requirements? Like, they say you need to do this before you make the application.
Well, that's a good question, because let me clarify this, because especially to many people in Kenya, they usually think that green card is for the university graduate or college graduate. But let me tell you something for those who are watching me. Green card, you only require a Form 4 certificate with a minimum grade of D-. In Kenya, when you get a D, that one you are considered as a failed person. You have failed. You can't go to university or college to do a diploma or a degree, or else you have to start from scratch from certificate. But for green card requirement, the education level that you only need, it is a D- KCSE. So that is the greatest requirement that they need, nothing else. KCSE, grade D- and above for the people that lives in Kenya.
You said a D- or a B-?
D-.
Okay.
D. Yeah.
D for dog.
D for dog.
Okay, yeah. So that's you can't beat that. If they only require you a D-,
yeah,
that's relatively easy to achieve, So
yeah, sure.
For anybody who wants to apply, that's a side note. You require a D-, so don't disqualify yourself. So just go ahead and make the application. So, okay, you did all that, and then when did you know you were selected? What time of the year?
Okay, the year 2019, I said I did my first entry. I used a CyberCafe. The guy of the CyberCafe applied for me. it didn't need to go through. So on the year 2020, that is 2 years ago or 3 years, I don't know. So that's when when I first applied my first time, I had that faith that I'm gonna be selected. I used to say that I'm going to America. I remember even testifying to people in my church that, you know what, I have a passport and I'm going to America because I have just made my entry about a green card. Now, when I fail, I check my result and I saw that I'm failed. I get disappointed. I get frustrated, and that thing of green card just went out of my mind. So the year 2020, now I had just shifted my mind from American dream now to focus on my life in Kenya and how I will survive in Kenya, because many times, especially if you are jobless in Kenya, you are surviving for the fittest, something like that. So when October came in the year 2020, I just decided, why don't I just do it again, because quitters never win and winners never quit. So in the year 2020, I decided to make another trial, my second trial. And you know what? The following year, on the month of May, I remember it was on Saturday. It was on Saturday on Kenyan time. The Department of State usually published the result on 7 p.m. Kenyan time. So here in American time, it's 12 noon time. So I remember I was checking my result, and you know what? My phone battery went off. In Samburu County, there are problem of electricity and that is things like that. So the electricity over there had a blackout, and my phone battery was almost shutting down. So in that process of trying to access the website, my phone went off. So on the following Sunday, that's when I wake up so early, put my phone on a charger because the electricity was back. And then once when I opened that website to check my result, do you know the first message that I saw? Comparing to the other messages that I saw last year that was saying, based on the information, the information you have not been selected. This one said, my name Jackson, blah, blah, blah. You have been selected for further processing. I didn't believe it. I didn't imagine it's me. I didn't imagine that the dream that I have been having since 2010, sorry, it is now coming to reality. So I was selected in the year 2020.
Okay. So what do you think made you get selected in 2020 as compared to the previous years?
Well, first thing I can say, it's favor of God, because the thing that I usually say, I'm still the same person that applied in 2019, and I'm still the same person that applied in 2020. But all I can say, the first and the greatest factor that I can say, it's the favor of God. And then the second thing that I can say, do you see this? They said that I applied on a cyber. Yes, I had faith in God that I'm gonna win, but I usually say that cyber guy messed me up. How did he mess me up? On that cyber, I found other guys that were seated on or ahead of me that had went before me to be applied. But when I went in that cyber, that guy, because I was not from his tribe, he greeted me hi in his tribe language, but I didn't answer. I told him I don't hear that language. So that guy asked me, can you come? I take you the photo we are preparing. So I asked myself, why don't he first give concentration to this other that were ahead of me? Do you know why he did that? Because I think he wanted to blush me, because others maybe had requested him not to rush them because they were from the same tribe. Now he wanted to first complete with me so that he can give others more concentration. So he took me a photo that didn't please me, because when I asked him to show me the photo, he just showed me like this way. And he told me the photo is okay. Again, about filling the questionnaire, because I have told you a private card is two parts. There is that you attach your passport photo. And then there is another one that now you fill the questionnaire about your name or addresses, things like that. Then there are some spaces that he was supposed to fill that he left blank. Do you know why? Yes, myself, I didn't know things like postal code. And then when I told him to Google, because he's a cyber guy, to Google the postal code of my place, he just decided not to Google for me. So he just decided to submit that entry with having some blank spaces. So in the year 2020, I applied for myself. So I gave it my best concentration. I made sure that I have filled every part that is required to be filled. About a passport photo, yes, I went to Kodak Studio, a professional Kodak Studio. So I think that is the two greatest results that I can say that made me to win on the year 2020.
Okay, that's very good. So okay, so now you got a green card. Are you supposed to know the person hosting you before you apply, or do you now start looking for somebody who is gonna host you after you get selected, or how does it go?
Okay, applying green card on the month of October, you don't require a host, you don't require any money, because we forgot to mention this. Applying green card is free. You don't require any money. Maybe if at all you are using a cyber, you can just pay some cyber services, which is automatically going to pay because of the internet that you are using. And then for applying green card, you don't need anything. You don't need money. You don't need a house. But once you are selected, you will need to have money that will help you for the process, your green card until you relocate over here in the US. And still, you will need a host. You know, there is this myth that I'm gonna call it myth. People usually think that, you know, when you go to America, they're gonna give you free house, they're gonna give you free food, they're gonna give you everything and free job and everything like that. But let me prove them wrong. The government of the US doesn't give you free food. The government of the US doesn't give you free house. It's upon you to find yourself how you will get those things. So once you are selected, you are supposed to have a host. And I usually advise people like this way. Might be you don't know anybody in America. Myself, I was there, I didn't know anybody in America, but God provided a host for me. So if at all you don't know anybody in America, go ahead and apply green card. Once you are selected, you can use these ways to get a host like the way I use. You can go to online platform to look for a host, maybe Facebook. In Facebook, there are a lot of groups from Kenya in America. Like me and you, we are here in America, right? So if at all somebody can reach you out, like asking for an assistance in issue of host, might be you can help him or not because of many factors, but you can connect to him another person that might be willing to host. So well, that is one way, like going to online platform like Facebook to look for the people that come from your country that are here in America. And then the second way, you can get a host. Maybe in your village, you know some family that is located here in America, or maybe in your workplace, you know somebody that knows someone, who knows someone in America. So you can connect, you can reach out to those people, and then they connect you to those people in America. One thing I know, when you get selected, God will make sure and open a door for you to get a host. But as an advice, even if you are looking for a host from this online platform, don't let anybody use you in exchange for that person hosting you. Let not anybody ask you money. Yes, even if you will come here, you can participate in help pay the bills like buying food, but not let anybody ask you money, the huge money, for them to host you. Let not anybody ask you to marry their brother, their sister, their cousin, for them not to host you, because it's gonna come and mess you up later in life. Myself, it happened to me, but God is faithful. No matter all that thing, God provided me a genuine host and a good host.
Okay. So currently, do you stay with your host or you moved?
Well, it's crazy because a lot of people, when they are hosted, they usually go to their host place. But my host, I don't know, he's of different kind because he's just a young guy like me. By the way, we are almost the same age. He is older than me with 2 years. So you can see he's just a young guy. So he decided like this way, instead of like hosting me in his house or his parents' house, I don't know. He decided to find me an apartment. He rented me an apartment, this one I'm living in. So from first day, I'm living in my own apartment. And by then, it's a great advice. Sometimes you can talk with your host if at all you have some small money, or if at all your host is willing, he can find you an apartment. Instead of going to his own place, you go to your own place. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
So he rented me an apartment. He paid for me the apartment for the first month. By the second month, I had a job, so I paid for myself the second month until to date.
Was it challenging?
Well, it was not challenging because like he rented me an apartment, he bought me beds, stuff like beds, cooking stuff, everything that is needed for a person to start life. He catered for me everything. So when I came here for the first month, yes, there are some challenges that I faced because I'm living on my own on a new rad. Yeah. But as time went by, I got a job, and then I went on adapting life over here. So yes, for the first 2 to 3 months it was challenging, but right now I think I'm just okay. I'm good to go. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sometimes it could be challenging because like when I came to US, I started living by myself. I was 19. So I was 19, I had to work, go to school. So, you know, it's not all like a land of milk and honey as people think. There's some challenges that come with it. So there's one thing I forgot to ask you. Let me take you back a bit. So you got accepted, and then now that was 2020. I know there was because of COVID, the embassy didn't have interviews. Did that affect you?
Sure, it affected me a lot because I told you. Let me take you back to elaborate to our viewers how it all goes. On October, you apply for green card. On the month of May, the following year, the results are announced. And once the results are announced, there is something that we call case number. You know, a lot of people usually apply like 10 million, 50 million. Not 50, sorry. That is a big number. 10 million, 15 million, things like that. But they only select like 100,000 people or something, whereby they have preserved 55,000 visas. So there is something that we call case number that they issue to people. This case number is the number, the number that's gonna allocate people their interview. No, so myself, I got a low case number of 1,400. My interview was supposed to be on October, but at that October, you know what? The embassy was not working. The embassy had been closed due to Corona. So my interview was rescheduled until February, the year 2022, this year. So I can say the pandemic affected me because my interview was supposed to be on October last year. I used to think that on Christmas 2021, I'm gonna eat on America. But see, on Christmas 2021, I was still in Kenya. I did my interview on this year, February 2022. Yeah. So that's how the Corona pandemic affected me.
Okay. So you go to the embassy, and
yeah,
what are some of the questions they asked you?
So when you go to embassy, this is just an embassy experience. Once you're selected, even before you go to embassy, there is something that they send you that is called 2NF. When you are selected, there is a form that you usually process that is called DS-260. Once you process your DS-260, and the KCC confirms that DS-260 it's okay, it can take 1, 2 months, 3 months for them to process your DS-260. They might ask you the document, although our year they ask you the document, but until October or November, then they abolished asking the document because of the backlog that was there. So they might ask you the document or they might not ask you the document. But so if at all they will ask you the document, you will go ahead and set the document, that is birth certificate, original passport, okay, not marriage certificate, that is birth certificate, original passport, and police clearance certificate. Only those 3 documents that you're gonna send to them. If at all they don't ask the document, when your case number becomes current, they will send you something called 2NL, second notification letter. 1NL is the one that told you have been selected. 2NL is the one that tells you that you have been scheduled for an interview on this day at this embassy. Do you see? The one that you selected may be from your country. So I was sent my 2NL on December and my interview was on February. So I prepared earlier before. Once I received 2NL, there are things that you are supposed to do. Let me just mention them. You are supposed to schedule for your medical appointment. For those that live in Kenya, it's in IOM. You are supposed to verify your next certificate, and you are supposed to schedule your appointment to tell them that you will be available on that day. So I did those processes before my interview, and then here came the day of the interview. So I wore a suit. By the I came to realize that even not a must wear a suit when going for an interview at US Embassy. Myself, I had worn a suit, and then I went there. It was on 15th February. It was very early in the morning. The gate of the embassy was not open by that time because I reached there at 5:15 a.m. So I waited until 6:30. That's when the gate was open. We were done the security checkup, like first security checkup, second security checkup, third security checkup. So once we are done the security checkup, I was given a token number that was gonna call me inside. And the first thing, when I was called inside, it is submitting your document. The first counter that you're gonna be called out, it is submitting your document. The second counter, it is paying the cashier, paying the money. The DB Rotary Visa cost $330 US. Then that counter, now here it is. Now the real interview with the consular, who is a white man. So he asked me this question. These are the common questions that they usually ask you. All the things that you answered in the green card about yourself and about your host, they are the only things that they usually ask you. So take care wherever you are filling the DS-260 because your interview will rotate on the DS-260. They asked me about my name. They asked me about what I have been doing since I completed my high school. They asked me whether I have ever committed a crime because they must check and verify from the good conduct. They asked me whether I have ever applied the US visa or denied a US visa before. They asked me about my host, where does he live and his name, and nothing else. So after asking me those questions, and I answered honestly and correctly, they told me your visa has been approved. Yeah.
Okay. How was the news when they told you that?
What? Let me tell you something. Earlier before I go to interview, I was still like when I got to I was still imagining getting a US visa is not a guarantee. You can be selected on the month of May, but in between you mess yourself up because of maybe one thing or two. So getting a US visa is not easy. So whenever you get that visa, actually, I don't know, because that's like a dream come true. I think the second stage after applying your American dream, the second stage that now the bridge gonna connect you from Kenya or from your country to American dream. It is the visa. So I got happy. I could not believe myself. I was out of this world. Yeah.
Okay. So now you've gotten the visa, and
yeah,
you got the visa. You already know your host. After not getting the visa, how long did it take you till when you came to America?
Well, you know what? Myself, it took just 1 week from the day that I went for an interview until I came here in America. Mm-hmm. So this is how it goes. Once you go for your interview, for the people that lives in Kenya, it's gonna take like 5 days for the embassy to send the visa back. But they're gonna not send the visa back to you physically. They're gonna send you through a DHL. Before you go for your interview, when you are scheduling your interview, you're gonna see a space or a place that you're gonna select the DHL office that you want them to use to send you the visa, the visa stamp, your passport back stamp with the visa. So after I went to my interview, it was on Tuesday, 15th February was on Tuesday. On Thursday, the same week, like after 3 days, I received a message from the US Nairobi embassy notifying me that they have already stamped the visa in my passport, and they have given the DHL my passport for them to ship it to me. So because it was on Friday, it was now that was on Thursday. On Friday, I got another message from DHL that they have been given the passport, and they are ready to ship it for me. But because it was on a weekend, there is no way they could ship it on a weekend. So on Monday, that's when I received another message to tell me that the DHL at Nakuru, they have received my passport and it's ready for correction. So I didn't go on Monday. I went on Tuesday. After going on Tuesday, I told my host that I got a visa. And you know what? On Wednesday, that's when he called me out to tell me that I have already booked you an air ticket and your flight will be on Saturday the same week. You know what? So it took me like 1 week from the day that I went from my interview until I located here in the US. Like 1 week, some few days.
Okay, that's very nice. We're happy that you're here. And
yeah.
So you come, you're in the US, and your host came and met you at the airport, and now you're in America. So how long did it take you to get your first job? And if you don't mind, tell us what was your first job here in America? And was it something you expected compared to what you are used to in Kenya?
Well, okay. So once I came here on that day, so I was communicating with my host because my flight was from Kenya to Radan, then from Radan to here in the US. So I was communicating with my host all through while I was taking my flight because the good thing again, on the ticket, it usually shows the time that you're going to reach here in America. So your host will already know the time that you're going to reach over here so that he will be waiting for you on the airport. So I came over here. I found my host waiting for me after clearing with the border check and something like that. So my host picked me up. We went to do some small shopping. As I told you, I was living on my apartment here. They rented me an apartment. After doing some few shopping, he brought me into my apartment. So the first night I was in my apartment. So because my house lives far from me, he used to commute like after his job, after 1 day or 2 days, he could come and check me up, ask whatever I want. If at all I need something, if at all I want to go somewhere, he guided me through, he showed me through. So about getting a job, I had to wait for my social security card. That took 1 week. Yes, I had started to apply for jobs even before I get social security card, but it was hard for those jobs to employ. Even I still have those forms up to here right now. It was very hard for me to get a job without a social security card. So I had to wait 1 week until I got social security card. So once I got social security card, that's when my host guided me on how to apply jobs on Google. He just showed me like, go on Google, find the jobs that are hiring here in Lancaster or things like that. So I went on Google. I came up. I saw this employment hiring agency that had an in-person interview. So I just decided to work. By then I worked like almost 3 hours. I didn't know even here in America people are not like allowed to work on a highway. Myself, I work. I don't have an access to use an Uber. I don't know anything to do with the cab. In Kenya, I used to have to work. So I thought even here in America, people usually work. This is a little test. So whenever I could work on a highway, people could look and be, they could see something strange. Walking 1 hour 40 minutes to that recruiting agency and back to and fro. So it was 1 hour 40 minutes to and fro. So it is like more than 3 hours walking. So I went to that recruiting agency. I did some interview like 2 hours or to 3 hours. Paperwork was like, oh my God, let me tell you, it was like I wrote. So after doing the paperwork, they immediately gave me a job. They told me it was on. I think it was on the second Friday of me being here in the US. The second Friday.
Yeah.
The Friday, not the second Friday. The Friday of the second week, me being here in the US, and then I was given an appointment to start my job on the Monday of the third week. So I got a job my first 2 weeks here in the US, and then on the third week, the first day of the third week, I started me working. So the job was warehouse and it was paying very well. Comparing to Kenya, I have never seen a money like that, man. Because in Kenya, I used to get paid like $2.50 a day. Over here in that job, I could earn like $16 an hour.
Yeah. Go ahead and wind up. And
yeah,
I'd like you to tell us. So currently, do you have any other plans with your job? Do you want to look for other places, or you're satisfied with where you are and wanting to look for a promotion? Or how could you brief us how it goes, or what's your focus on?
Well, now I'm 4 month old here. I wanted to say yes, but not yes. It's 4 month old here in the US.
Yeah.
I love it because comparing with my country, here there is more opportunity and better opportunities than my country. And being a young person, energetic, focused, and who have a dream, I believe that in this road, it fits for every young person, or not only any young person, but any person who has a dream, no matter the age. This is the best run for you. So myself, I'm still confused, confused, because I don't know which way to go, because I might go to school, I might join truck driving, I might join the military. Do you see yourself in a room of opportunities now?
Yeah.
You are thinking of which opportunity to select or which not to select, because even when you talk about this job that I'm doing, yes, it is very hard because it is manual work, but still it's paying good, and still it has some benefits. So, well, right now I still need an advice and a guidance of whereby I'm trying to reach out to some people like you, or to anybody who have been here for a while, to guide me through. All else, I still want to take time, not to choose any opportunity, or not to just choose to take any load or any way that I will come to regret later and say, I wish I could take the other opportunity. Do you see things like that?
Yeah.
So I can wind up and say that I am not yet decided which way to take, but I still need to give myself more time to know which way to take. Yeah.
Tell somebody who is out there, not only in Kenya, because I know your channel has many people from Tanzania, all over Africa.
Yeah.
Somebody who wants to apply for a green card, just give them some advice. Tell them like 2 things they need to know.
Well, for anybody, not only people in Kenya, because I know even your channel is globally. Once we are here in the US, a lot of people from different countries usually follow us just to run 1 or 2 things. Yeah. I can tell you first thing, American dream is real. Dream is real. There are many other ways that you can relocate here in the US, but myself, I'm well advanced and know about green card. And green card lottery is real and genuine. But for you to get a green card, I usually say this thing: do your best and leave God the rest. Apply green card on the month of October, it is supposed to be. Take in about the passport photo. By the way, passport photo has been messing a lot of people. So just go to the Kodak studio, the one that gonna give you attention, and the one that's gonna take you photo as per requirement. And once you have that passport photo, you may decide to apply on a cyber. Maybe some cybers usually take this photo. But when you are going to apply on a cyber, know that this is your dream. So don't let that guy do his own thing. Cooperate with him. Let him, while he is filling that questionnaire, cooperate with him. Let him, when he take you that passport photo, let him show you. Let him, while he is editing that photo, show you, and show you that it's it has been cropped according to the required size. Do you see? Yeah. And then the second thing I'm gonna tell you: pray God to help you out and save some money whenever you may have it, because if at all one day you want to come to America, yes, applying green card is free, but later along you're gonna use some money. So as early as now, why don't you prepare yourself? Because I usually say planning to fail, failing to plan is planning to fail. So start saving some money for now, knowing that one day God gonna help you out come in America. Apply that passport even if this year no passport, but that will be used to apply green card. That, but have a, okay, I mean, generally have all the requirements ready for you that will be required to have in a year in America. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you very much for coming and to the show and explain to people more about green card. And I'll take this opportunity to tell people, anybody who wants to learn more, I know you've talked about a lot, but I still feel like there is also much that they need to know, and they can come to your channel. Do you mind telling them what's the name of your channel?
Okay, for anybody who might want to learn more, my channel is Prince Ja Kenya. Prince Ja Kenya. I think Brian might gonna pin it in his comment section or description box. Just follow that link, come in my channel, ask any question. I'm gonna help you out to the best of my knowledge.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, and hoping I can bring you another time. We can talk about more things now. We're not gonna talk about green card. We're gonna talk about how you transitioned and how the process was. So we'll, we just continue to work together. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for hosting me. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you.